Hello, welcome back, you all. Yes, I know. Seriously, this is something that God revealed to me, and I said, "Oh, I have got to bring it to you all." And listen, I know that when we go live at different times, you know, uh, Tuesday through Friday, when we go live at different time, I understand that some of y'all will catch this on the replay, and we highly appreciate y'all too. So I want y'all to know we don't expect everybody to just like drop what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? No, we don't operate like that. Now, it's great if you are able to come on in here. Come on in. Let's let those notifications go on out at the same time, doing what we usually do as we get set up over here. Get the comments pulled up so I can monitor those as well. And then we'll like check and see what's going on here. Here we go. Yep. Doing that sound check. Going on here. All right, there we go. We are good to go. All right, we're going to dive into it. Okay, because we learned that, we cannot keep walking in our feeling and be in our purpose at the same time. Oh, and I'm going to recap some things for whoever needs this because of the simple fact that when we are walking in our purpose, yes, our enemies are going to be revealed. Absolutely, because what are we dealing with in the spiritual battle for the mind, right? We are dealing with a lot of narcissists that are conditioned to continue making judgment based on outward appearances. Because we had one in the comment not too long ago that I had to block and delete because they still believe they are so conditioned to believing that appearance is everything. No, it's the enemy. It's all about appearances. Okay? So we don't want to get tricked up, or tripped up, better yet, into continuing to walk in our feelings, letting our emotions control us. Can't do that because when we let our emotions control us, we are seeking to fulfill fleshy desires. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Let's Just Chat show, streaming YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, and Facebook at Consulting for Heightened Awareness. That's right. And yes, this is where trauma healing and spiritual growth with God's wisdom, basic scientific facts, tried and true techniques, and more are front and center. That's right. And I want to give all y'all a shout out, okay, to all fellow warriors. Because I know even if you don't see the progress that you're making, God sees it and I see it. There are some things that are going to take baby steps. There's going to be some things that we can take adult steps. Right? The baby stepping part is this: learning how to control our emotion. That is not going to happen overnight. So don't want to burst anyone's bubble, but that's the truth. Because we're not going to be able to regain control of every single emotion overnight because there's too many. You've got your negative one and you've got your positive one. We have to find that balance. Yes, chosen ones, spiritual warriors for Christ, it's okay to get excited about what God is doing. In fact, we're supposed to be. But we no longer get excited as we used to in an overly type of way, like when we were younger. Okay, we didn't put it on display, if you will. Okay, yeah, we did then, but we don't now. Like, we are excited about what God's doing. Absolutely. But we just know when you get to that place in the spiritual awakening where everything comes into alignment and you feel it, you can feel the increase. You can feel that God is working it out in your favor. You can feel it on the inside. That's not walking in your feeling. That's a spiritual sense type feeling. There's a difference. You've got to have that spiritual discernment. So having that sense of excitement, that sense of happiness, that sense of joy, and the peace that comes with all of that on the inside, right? You're feeling it on the inside, not the outside. Think about that too, because when emotion control people, that's external. When we learn to get control over ourselves, it comes from within. It's internal. And so it flips the script as we overcome what we refer to as those fleas, those negative emotions that we're trying to get in there. So we learn that it's us who can control ourselves, how we react. Because here's the thing, the enemy is always doing things on this world stage to try and get reaction out of people. They stage events on the world stage too, that's right, to trick people into living and reacting a certain way. Remember something, there's narcissistic abuse on the societal level. It's no different than on the individual level. Because that right there, all those mind games and all of that is designed to keep people living in fear, emotionally dysregulated, and letting their emotion control them. So they continue to walk in the flesh, walking after things to fulfill their fleshy desires. And so we have to overcome that in God's reality. We can't be in God's reality and still be doing that. It doesn't work. Because God is all things positive. He's stern and firm. He's all things positive. He's all things righteous. So for us to get control of our emotion one at a time, like I've said before, we have to acknowledge it. Okay, because acknowledging it, see, this is why narcissists will never, ever, ever reach emotional intelligence. They'll never make it there because they remain stunted. They're toddlers in adult bodies, letting their emotions dictate their decisions, letting their emotion, basically all the negative, okay? It's the demon spirit that's controlling their thoughts. So, chosen one, we learn to acknowledge it. Okay, we're acknowledging it. Assess where it came from. Process it. Reminding ourselves that, you know what? That's a negative one. That's not from us. That's not from us on the inside. So then we can let it go. That's how we start to develop emotional maturity. We stop reacting. That's right. To the evildoers. We stop giving them emotional supply. So we become emotionally mature because we have to do that first. You have to be mature emotionally before you can reach emotional intelligence. And part of that emotional intelligence that the world will not tell you is God's spiritual truth about the fact that those negative emotions are demon spirit and that they are external. Every single trauma trigger is external. God is not the one doing that. He's on the inside, right? The Godhead is on the inside of us. Okay, well, that being said, and God is all things righteous, all things positive, then by default, all those negative spiritual energies, emotion, that's external. And we don't let it get in. That's the point right there. Once we've acknowledged, processed, and all of that, assess where it's coming from, and then process it, and then we let it go. We don't let it get back in there. That's right. Don't let it get back in there. It doesn't mean the enemy won't try, because of course he will. Because the enemy knows that if we are not in control of our own emotions, then he can use our emotions as another weapon. And that's what he does on this world stage. Listen, y'all, they have to let the cat out of the bag every now and again. They have to. And we learned something else about that. As they're doing that narcissistic abuse on the societal level to trick a lot of people into living and reacting emotionally, they're looking for negative emotion. Remember, negative energy. Okay, negative energy is emotion, negative emotion. Okay, think about it. That fuels the low vibration. That fuels the earth rumble. And yes, y'all, just a few days ago, I heard the earth rumble got a little bit louder, and I was like, okay, so we know pretty much that there's something going on out there, obviously, because it is a world stage. So we know that the Matrix is up to something again. But it didn't take long to figure out what it was. And yes, it had to do with the, you know what, what we walked away from a long time ago. Okay, that P matrix. We have nothing to do with it. We know whenever there's rumble, people all riled up with negative emotional reaction. That's what it's after, because that's how the enemy is using the emotions against the sleepers. Okay, that's how he does it, and tricks them into playing themselves. That's right, to help his life look believable. And so they have to let the cat out of the bag every now and again to see who will still keep playing the game of narcissism versus who will not. And chosen one, spiritual warriors for Christ, we stop playing the game. Because we realize now all our lives why things just didn't add up from time to time. And we also learned that in many movies, remember something, y'all, okay, a lot of stuff that is dished out over the years, we learned that in movies they were telling us things that we now realize are true. But if under a heavy cloud of confusion, meaning hypnotized, they're brainwashed. Once they are brainwashed and God has turned them over to a reprobate mind, that's it for them. That's it. They're not waking up. They're not going to see what chosen one can see. They're not going to be able to spiritually discern. They're never going to be allowed to have control over their own emotion. But we do. Because in order to walk in our purpose, we have to be in control of ourselves. Because there's going to be narcs who are going to show up in the comments now and again, and it cannot sting, because if it does, that's a trigger, and it will cause self-sabotaging behaviors like self-disappointment, self-discouragement. It'll cause, if it still stings, it'll cause us to feel bad, right? Well, that's what the enemy wants. I'm here to tell y'all, when I get one, they get blocked and deleted. Well, a lot of them get laughed at first because the comments are just all telling. They're telling on themselves through that verbal assault. Yeah, exactly. Like the one I shared in the beginning where he said that appearances are everything. See, that's the enemy talking. The enemy is all about appearances. Talking about, I might listen to you if blah, 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 blah. I don't care. If they are still walking and living by sight, and they are making judgment based on outward appearances, they don't belong in this community of spiritual warriors for Christ in the first place. Right? This is not for them. They're still walking by sight, making judgment when that's God's job. We don't care. True blue spiritual warrior for Christ, chosen one, we don't go around doing that. We walking and living by faith. And so we also know that that was just another narc trying to get us to change something about ourselves because it made their demon spirit uncomfortable, because we up here, that's right, we up here shining, bringing y'all God's revelation. And this just happens to be one of them. How God revealed to me that when we are in control of our emotion, we are also in control of our flesh. And we learn how to tell that ego no. That's right. We got to tell that ego no from time to time, because it does want to pop up. We go, Right? It's a spiritual battle for the mind. It's ongoing. So it's not, I remember, some think that just because it's a spiritual battle, that at some point it's going to end. No, we've been in the spiritual battle for the mind our entire life and will always be. That's what Jesus was trying to warn us about. He was trying to teach us. And he's teaching us through his teaching all about that. Again, it's not a coincidence that verse 7 in chapter 24, 24:7, where Jesus is describing the spiritual awakening. That is not a coincidence. Remember, God is strategic. 24/7. And then tells us not to be afraid 365 times in the Bible. That's not a coincidence. So let that sink in. Very important to understand. That is another reason why we got to get control of ourselves and stop reacting, giving them emotional supply, so that we are in control of our flesh, meaning we'll be able to resist the devil more easily. Remember, God teaches. The devil will tempt. That's how the devil will test us. He tests our faith through temptation. We learn to resist those temptations only when we are in control of ourselves. We control our flesh. For example, because we're not perfect. Now, I'm at the grocery store. I got my list. God's telling me that's all you need. But the enemy going, yeah, but how about that bag of chips too? Satan, get behind me. Real talk, y'all. Hey, listen, it happens to all of us. It is a spiritual battle for the mind. And so, God's telling me if that's all you need, it's on the list. That's what you get, and get out. And now sometimes God will remind us, there's one more kitchen utensil you might need. Hold up. And he'll allow for that. But, God is flexible. But the enemy was trying to tempt me with a bag of chips that I don't need, because I already have 3 or 4 bags of chips in my cupboard. He was trying to tempt me. This is another reason why we learn not to go to the grocery store hungry. Oh, that's the worst thing to do, because the enemy, if he can sense that we're hungry at the grocery store, he likes to play all kinds of games. Oh, I'm telling you. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. Let's drop that in the comments below. Don't go to the grocery store hungry. Drop that down below, because we all do it. And that is when we get that heightened awareness, because we are in control of our emotion, we can more easily control our flesh. But when we're hungry, that's a bit more challenging. So we make it a point, the rule that we now have is, if we know we're going to the grocery store, we've got our breakfast, and even if we're not hungry for lunch, but we know we're going to the grocery store, and oftentimes we're at the grocery store and we end up getting hungry at the grocery store. We make sure that we go ahead and eat some kind of snack before we go out the door. And that helps curtail it, because it really is. It's a whole new learning curve, y'all, when we are in the spiritual awakening, and it is the spiritual battle for the mind. So we're in there and you're seeing all this stuff. and you're smelling the, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. All right, so, but now we're controlling our emotion, so we're making better decisions like that. Say, okay, make sure you put some on your tummy. Because, y'all, the flesh is weak. The spirit is strong. There you go. That's the difference, right? Spirit is strong, flesh is weak. The enemy knows that. It's another reason why the enemy uses emotions, because emotions are directly tied to fleshy desires. So there you go. And that's just the thing we got to do. And it's totally 100% possible. I'm keeping it real with y'all. Okay? Because we're on this journey together. And so we're learning. We have to relearn how to live our life in God's reality once we are aware of what's going on in the matrix and what all that's about, and that we've been lied to since birth. We have to unlearn a lot of stuff. I mean, it's a lot. This is why we're here for you all. We're building a growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ, a place where y'all can come. Okay, yeah, and convene with your like-minded fellow warriors and myself to help share these insights and to help each other, iron sharpening iron, to help each other get through all of this. And just like we're doing at CHA Academy, growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ. That's right. Iron sharpening iron. All right, you all, seriously, that's what it's all about. So you can always hop on over to CHAAcademyBTBW.com, check out what we got going on, and by clicking on all courses. And you can also take a peek at what we got going on the Patreon channel as well. Now, the Patreon channel is another membership channel where you can sign up to become a patron for as little as $5 a month. And you get access to exclusive content, sermon, personal testimony, case study detail, and more. From the rabbit hole and all that, we make real world connection. We take from the YouTube channel and elsewhere, and we branch out, right, on the Patreon channel. And that Patreon channel is coming up on a 2-year anniversary. That's right, in October of 2023. So we are happy about that. Absolutely. We continue to build, bringing y'all more stuff. And just so you know, all right, everybody, I want to point this out real quick, that I do not display the number of members on that channel for a reason. Because if anybody's going over to that channel, and let's say you go to the About page, it's Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance. Okay, it's patreon.com/narcissism and cognitive dissonance, all one word. And when you land on the homepage and you go to the About section, click on that. There's a short introduction video to tell you about the type of content that's on that channel. And it's for those who are ready to accept that we've been lied to since birth about a lot of things. That's what that channel's for. And it's just another level up in our trauma healing and spiritual growth on this journey together. That's right. And so if somebody goes over there and they like the type of content they're going to get access to in the paragraph, and they're ready to accept that they've been lied to since birth, but they get, I guess you could say, discouraged because they don't see the number of members displayed. Well, then that's not for them, because people who truly support us, Chosen One, Spiritual Warriors for Christ, people who genuinely and truly want to support us are going to do so no matter how many others are or are not. That's the reality. So if somebody's going on over there, and because they don't see the number of members that are on the Patreon channel, and they decide, oh, well, I'm not going to join because I think the world view is that to display that so others can see that others support you. Huh? Chosen One, we don't care. If we come across somebody's content and it resonates with us, and we want to support them, we're going to do it. I don't care how many members are there. I don't care how many followers they have. If it is of interest to me, I'm going to follow. That's how chosen ones are. True blue chosen ones. That's how we are. We don't care. But we're not trying to follow the crowd. You see, only those with that mentality who follow the crowd will think like that. So that's to wrap this one up. I needed to get that out there to let y'all know. Okay? So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. That's what we're here for. As always. Yes, hello. I'm checking the chat for a few minutes now, y'all. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but I'm just going to say, fellow warrior, hello. How are you? So let me go ahead. I'm going to put this in the chat for you all for quicker access. So it is patreon.com/cognitive dissonance. Because remember, y'all, those are the two fundamental components in the spiritual battle for the mind. Okay? So just so you know, that's where that is. And that's another membership channel for Consulting for Heightened Awareness. We also have the membership at the Academy as well. So there's tons of ways that y'all can join us on this journey and tons of ways to further support the ministry and the work. And we highly appreciate you. And we do. We are grateful for all that we get as far as true support. And we do know, yes, y'all, listen, chosen one, we know that there are those who are going to watch just to see if what they tried to do worked. And we know how that's working out for them, don't we? Yeah, we keep on keeping on. Chosen one, listen, y'all. Chosen one, we don't go down without a fight. And I mean a fight spiritually, okay? Not physical, it's spiritual. And so basically, whenever the enemy tries and we learn a new lesson, we cut off access to whatever that was. It's called no contact for a reason. And so we block and delete where necessary. Because we're no longer letting our emotion control us. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for the Let's Just Chat show, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, and Facebook at Consulting for Heightened Awareness. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.